Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Briggs. I'm chairman of the Fine Arts Committee for HASP. I'd like to welcome you today to our course on art with a Caribbean flair with our presenter, Eric Vicardo. We're glad to have Eric here. A native of the Dominican Republic, Eric is now based in Grand Rapids. He describes himself as a multi-dimensional artist whose work is a blend of painting, mixed media, music, and dance. He has exhibited his work at Art Prize and has created murals on prominent buildings in downtown Grand Rapids. He also has an upcoming show in New York, and we might hear more about that today. Eric is involved in the Caribbean Coalition for Arts and Culture West Michigan and has also contributed to the Tulipanes Latino Art and Film Festival in Holland. Today, we'll learn more about his artwork that draws on his African Caribbean cultural heritage to tell universal stories. As he puts it, through his art, he aims to inspire each of his viewers to strive toward a better self and a better world. So please welcome Eric Vicardo.
All right.
And again, you're gonna need to stand right in front of it. Okay, let me work on that.
Formally, good morning, buenos dias. I'm glad to see all of the beautiful faces this morning. We don't have snow today. That's another good thing. I've been here for 21 years and I still dealing with that. It's been hard to adjust into the weather thing in West Michigan. But yeah, thank you. The sun is out, you here, and I greatly appreciate your support. We're going to be talking about many different things. I'm going to be showing a lot of images to support my presentation here. As you see now, I'm originally from Dominican Republic, Dominican, Puerto Rican, father Puerto Rican, mother from Dominican. And I've been living in both islands since they were divorced. So family of 5, got 2 sisters and a big older brother who's still in Dominican Republic. The majority of the family are here in the United States since maybe 4 years ago. But our family my father actually decided to come to the United States probably 30 years. It was a big journey. And all of this process, the paperwork to come here illegally was very, very hard to deal with. One by one, one family member at a time. So you can imagine, we work all together to make that happen, that possible here. So, and of course, one of the things for me in particular, just to have the opportunity in the United States to develop a lot of projects that I have in my vision, my ideas, my project that I couldn't work in my own country for many different reasons. So yeah, I'm very grateful and blessed to be here and very happy to, see all of the result today, right after over 20 years. So yeah, let's start here. I'm formally graduated in the Dominican Republic in 1995. It was a university, the Spaniards call it the first University of America. As you see, we have a lot of influence from historical from Europe, Spaniard, French, England. So all of them, for historical reason, we are kind of multi-path ethnicity. So it's a very interesting mixed things in the Caribbean, all over the Caribbean. I had the opportunity to formally come up with a formal business per se under Vicardo Color LLC. So we provide services and also we have a lot of product beside original artwork. We have books, we have cards. So if you see through my website, you can see all of these products that we are actually having available for people who like to collect art and some other stuff. And also we provide some type of services, murals, art mural. We're connecting with organization or the private or public sector to create, a wonderful piece of art on the wall. Another services that we are through my journey is basically very important for me to show who we are as a Caribbean community all over the world. So drumming, folk dance, and all of this type of cultural project is also, I have a venue to provide this type of services to share with the rest of the world here who we are as a community. It's very important for me to have the identity and also my own voice through art to express and to share with you who we are. We're gonna be going back a little bit like at the beginning step. As soon as I graduate, it was a little bit hard for me to express myself. One of the things that I considered was a little challenging. My father never approved to me to be an artist. Most of the time, and I see that in Latino families, father wants to be your son or your daughter, be a doctor, attorney, accounting, whatever. But art they consider is a hobby. However, he support me to be to attend the university and become a professional artist. Ironically, well, okay, you know what? Do what you like to do, and if you feel happy with that, okay. So it was a big mental thing during the first process right after I graduate. As you see, one of the newspaper over there, I was exploring into the fashion thing. Also, as a graphic designer, I create a few different stuff, offering some services for companies who like the graphic designer project. As I mentioned before, the identity, it was, and it's still very important for me. So I start creating those masks. We have the Carnival. It's a celebration, a big celebration in Dominican Republic, which we showing through the Independence Days, all of this characteristic from Africa into the Caribbean. So I've been exploring how to express myself and showing the identity through the Carnival. Talking about identity, some of my pieces here, as I mentioned at the beginning, the mix into the indigenous Afro influence in the Caribbean and the European influences here. It's kind of melting pot of many different elements. So I create actually those pieces to be our voice, to share with you who we are as a community. One of the first article about my work in Grand Rapids Press, and also the second one is talking about the first Latin American art exhibition that I host in Grand Rapids. I had the opportunity to create 3 different editions of that one, promoting local artists from Latin America in West Michigan. It was very successful. The second one, we had 59 artists from Latin America. One came from Panama and a couple from Mexico, directly from their own country to support and to be part of this exhibition. The activism part is also another way to place my voice. Art is actually a very powerful tool that helps us to, deal with some social thing that we're facing. The first picture is showing when the immigration process started here and getting a little bit hard during Mr. President Trump. In Grand Rapids, where a lot of movement creating type of protest, Pacific protest, saying, showing we like to have a conversation about immigration here instead of pushing people back or getting on jail or any other thing. So I've been using art used to promote that type of thing. The one in the middle is showing one of the most interesting projects that I done with Wyoming Christian School. Racism and bullying in school still a very important element to take care of because it's increasing. So we try to address that situation actually, not just in school, in the work environment, all over the place, we're still dealing with that one. And of course, promoting peace, you see, we currently have a little hard situation between Russia and Ukrainian. So art is always there. We are placing our voice through that. This one showing the first intent for me, 57-hour non-stop, no eating, no sleep. It was a big marathon that I named it marathon, actually promoting peace and love through the war. That event happened in Grand Rapids downtown. So I spent 57 hours actually promoting art, creating at the same time a piece of mural over there. I tried to raise my voice and to share, have a conversation with many people who support that time for 57 hours. It was a very, very interesting, very challenging project over there. Talking about the Caribbean art and culture, I'm started this group in 2009. The intention of this group at the beginning, we are actually in a process to become a formal nonprofit. So it's a platform for us, once again, to promote who we are as a Caribbean, also helping some of the Caribbean people here who probably they don't have a venue or voice to have some resources, for example, and also the culture part is important to keep promoting through that. This is one of the main events that we host for about 9 years. A las Latinas is an award ceremony. We recognize a lot of Latinas women in West Michigan through this event in many different areas: health, art, community, so you name it. I'd like to say before I continue, if you got some question through the presentation, feel free to do it because it's going to be very interesting for me to answer those questions in the meantime. Become a cultural ambassador here, as I mentioned before, promoting who we are and promoting actually the real Caribbean culture through this event and also through all of this project here in West Michigan. There is a folklorical dance, drumming, and some of the stuff among of this event. Yes.
Are these all in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, we actually been participating in Muskegon, Ottawa County. I was one of the first who started the Tulipanes Latino Festival here back in 2008. So I have the privilege to be part of that and create that platform for local artists. Also, interact with the rest of the community here, which is very diverse. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are open to work with all over the place. Yes.
What brought you to West Michigan?
It's a good question. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Well, I gotta go back. Do you mind to repeat your question again, please?
Yes, most of your work has been done in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, the question is all my work being done in Grand Rapids, and my answer was that I've been working all over West Michigan, name it, Muskegon, Holland, actually Kalamazoo. We work all over the place here, which is a very interesting thing, have that open doors to develop those projects that I have from the Caribbean through here. And the second question was, who brought me to Grand Rapids? Living in New York, we've been kind of back and forward. For an adult, it's a little bit hard, you know, you can imagine, readapt here, whether, once again, language, lifestyle, and so on. It was absolutely way different lifestyle for me, and for many of us, of course. I was kind of, it was struggling to rearrange things starting here. So a conversation with a friend of mine who lived in Grand Rapids mentioned, well, if you like to get a little break, come over here. I said, what is the Grand Rapids? You know, the lake, this area. Okay, let's try. 2 weeks of vacation, actually. But vacation still 21 years later. Yeah, so from New York, which is a big city, once again, a very diverse city, and then coming to Grand Rapids was another thing in my face. Okay, here we go again. But I think, you know, I'm very regrets because we're supposed to learn Spanish, English and French. This is part of since high schooler. This is part of the training that we're supposed to have because we have people from everywhere also. In order for us to communicate and do business with people, you got to have more than one language. So regrets, you know, I don't need it, so let it go. So yeah, here I am learning back again. It wasn't a deal, you got to learn, no question asked. So yeah, I'm glad that I made that decision and I stuck into my project, and also, you know, sticking to the family plan, because the idea was to bring the rest of the family, you know, doing the whole paperwork for us. My mother was the last family member, but she's been here now in New York since 8 years ago. So just a good thing. Excellent. Once again, this is one of the projects, San Cecilia Music Center, in which showing a lot of Afro-Caribbean performance over there. Talking about our social and spiritual belief in Dominican Republic, in the Caribbean, actually, because we got a lot of similarity. Those pieces actually is showing those type of belief. We got Catholicism, we got Christian, and also we have what we name Santeria, which is the most popular in the Cuban island. This installation, it was the very first exhibition in Grand Rapids. It's actually showing all of these elements from the Santeria practice in the Caribbean. Many people used to be confused or get a little bit extra element, but Santeria, they don't kill animals, for example. It's not like a little crazy way to believe. They got different goddesses, you name it. They have different gods, they have different way to interact with the universe, but nothing like voodoo, for example. So it's way different from the voodoo. Santeria is a little bit from Orichas in Africa. So it's another way of showing some of the lifestyle in the Caribbean. Once again, some of the pieces showing the mysticism about Santeria religion or belief in the Caribbean. Going back to, or keeping talking about their identity, the Caribbean are the same way with Latin American, very happy people. Depends, you know, despite the political situation, despite the political and social situation in the Caribbean, we're looking for a way to live happy between because, having all of this conflict, how to provide for family, for example, because the one on the power, they control all of this type of thing. But we have that type of life, that type of mentality, let's keep moving forward. Let's try to find our way to survive here. Once again, the second one is the Black within a Caribbean culture, which is very prominent. I believe 59% of that root is in the Caribbean. Now, that's also another social thing that I use in art as a voice to promote and to spread my point of view about social violence and those type of things that we face in even today. Yes.
Could you say a bit about the image on the left as we're fixing it?
Yeah, the very first one, right, with the white frame. Yeah, okay. That is actually you see, but you don't talk. You put your life in risk. If you see something the governor is doing, the operation, for example, we witness that stuff. We allowed to talk, but you putting yourself in a risk. So it's basically a way to say this is our reality here. If you try to get against them, you actually, as I mentioned, you put yourself in a risk. So you see, but you don't talk. That's my point of view about that situation. It's happening all over the world. It's not just here, not just in Latin America, of course. Some way or another, yeah. When we facing those type of things, we used to play like a conservative in a way, Here are a few articles from magazines and newspaper here in West Michigan, talking about murals, talking about what I've been doing with the community. Another line of product that we offer is using a piece of art to wear in a way. So this is very contemporary and urban pieces of art for men, and it's a unisex, some of them unisex, some of the men or female. You see some of the jackets, the one is kind of new product that we are putting together and try to find out right now the right market for this type of product, which is very popular in biggest cities. So yeah, this is I'm very happy with the result, and we are promoting these new items as a part of the Vicardo Colors business. Talking about mural, I have 18 murals all over the place. Have 6 in Traverse City. I have 18 in Grand Rapids. Would you name it? There is a lot of local businesses. There is the one on the top is Jennison School last year. No, that one is Forest Hill School, actually, elementary school. Once again, working with some of the students, actually creating those pieces of work, a reflection of what is the school community over there. So Cesar Chavez legacy is the first one. That one is Cesar Chavez Elementary School in Grand Rapids. Cesar Chavez was one of the leaders who fight for the farmer worker, better deal with the farmer worker. So we built that in Grand Rapids. The Grand Rapids Public School actually support and commission that work. The second one was part of the Art Prize 2017. 20 Monroe is one of the big venue for entertainment, musical entertainment in Grand Rapids. That's another big opportunity for me to bring those type of elements through the city. I Love You art mural. That is the first one, a series of 5 that is going to be happening in Grand Rapids. A lady who's a philanthropist in Grand Rapids decided to spread and promote love through art, which is a wonderful tools to promote those type of things. We don't probably have to talk a lot. The piece of art per se, you can feel, you can share that idea into these images. Another mural in the downtown Michigan, Grand Rapids, that was part of the city commission 3 years ago. One of the things in this art, that's being used for drugs and prostitution. So art helped to clean that area near downtown. It was kind of hiding place over there, so we turned that place into a positive way. Another mural that was very significant, you may remember the George Floyd situation that brought a lot of protests all over the United States. Grand Rapids has a big protest. So all of these windows surrounding out of the business in downtown were filled out with pieces of art. And I was part of that. Love Prevail, that was the title of that 6 pieces in that particular restaurant in Grand Rapids, downtown Grand Rapids.
Eric,
Yes.
when you are commissioned to do these murals, how do you work with the owner of the building or whoever your sponsor is in terms of the ideas that go into the mural? Do you have a lot of freedom, or do they kind of send you in a particular direction?
Yeah, some of them, we started putting an idea. I used to approach to the business or to the organization, okay, this is gonna be good for your business, or actually the connection with the rest of the community within your business. So I dropped the idea. Most of the time I have a kind of guideline. We want this, and that, which is a little bit of limitation in a way, because I had to stick with, because of course they are paying for that. So yeah, the freedom of expression through the murals sometimes a little bit limited, once again, because they are commissioned a certain commission work. In this particular one was very open, because they want somebody else, make a call for the artist community in Grand Rapids. This is what we're gonna do, promoting actually peace through this project. Here's another interesting project within the inner city in Granville Avenue, Grand Rapids. Once again, there's a lot of symbolism there. You see the dove, which is a peaceful element. Some of the faces is a representation of the multi culture in this area, because we have people from everywhere in this Granville Avenue area. Another line of product is functional art. So turning these pieces into a piece of art per se, so people can sit into those type of couch and chairs. Is another interesting way to, to put some piece of art into your place, into the office, into the corporate business. So yeah, umbrella also is another popular item from Vicardo colors. This is actually a good way to collect those type of art beside the canvas. Yes.
Just a comment. What a wonderful way to brighten up a rainy day, that they have an umbrella like that. It's wonderful.
Absolutely, yeah. Bringing all of this color through the city actually is kind of art bring people together for many different ways and many different reasons. So it's the vibrant color, the theme, the elements. It's very interesting how we keep connecting each other, especially with the mural. So this, as I mentioned before, art is a very interesting tools for the whole humanity. This is the event that we've been promoting and hosting every year, celebrating Latina success in West Michigan. Another wonderful piece from Art Prize. That one was the Boston Convention Center 2013. I've been participating in Art Prize for about 8-9 years now, which is a venue that allows to keep promoting our work and connect with artists out of the United States also, and collectors and art buyers. This is a mosaic art mural in one of the local Mexican restaurant here. That mural is telling the family story through a Lindo Mexican restaurant. Was another very interesting piece of mural over there. It's part of the private collection they have. Yes, and
Did you do the mosaic or do the design and someone else did the mosaic?
I did both. Yeah, actually the interior design, I was part of the whole process. Selection of colors and furnitures. So yeah, that project started about 5 years ago, and I'm glad they, request our service for that. One of the most recent project, we are turning this into the most biggest duck art mural. We're gonna drop a proposal to Guinness because so far is the biggest one, according from our information that we have. We're gonna extend both sides to include more ducks. It's one of the newest dog park in Grand Rapids, Cobston Park. And once again, another opportunity for me to keep promoting my work and bring, all of these type of things together. And people very happy. We had 29 dogs and in this particular project. The pet culture actually here, for my surprise, is huge. And also you see how much money people put into those stuff, buying those items for $100. Wow. But yeah, it's very popular now. Once again, this is one of the Collins Elementary School, another mural in there. That was a commission work from Forest Hill Elementary Public School. Now that's a little bit way different from what I do. As I mentioned at the beginning, multitasking, multi-diverse art. I used to work in body paint, which is very popular in bigger cities. but it's another, instead of using a real canvas, I using human bodies as a canvas to create a piece of art. This is part of the mural in Granville Avenue. Another selection of collection of my pieces, very different. Once again, I'm using art to tell story, which is another wonderful way to create a story using canvases. Humanity, that one here is a true story with right after a conversation with that woman who believed that she passed away and back to earth. So I tried to translate the whole story into that piece. The interaction between humans of many different backgrounds also is very important to me to show in those type of pieces.
Excuse me, a question.
Sure.
Those three pieces we're looking at, in real life, how large are each of those?
I used to work in large pieces for some reason. I like to take that challenge. It's basically 30 by 40 and up. As you see, the one we're showing here, kind of medium sizes, but I really like the same way I work with murals. I really love to work in that big scale of pieces of art.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes.
They're so wonderfully colorful. Is that something of a Caribbean trait?
Yes, I truly believe asking about the color of my pieces, it was a question show up right now, is kind of reflection of who we are as a Latino and Caribbean community. Once again, because of environment, for example, very rich environment, very colorful thing. We don't have snow for sure. It's always a sunny day most of the time. When it's raining a lot. But yeah, it's the way we are. I try to show through this pigment, through this color, the way we behave actually. Once again, we are a very happy population despite, some of the political and social circumstances that we're facing.
Eric, on one
Yes.
of your earlier slides, you mentioned that you often layer the paint to create a certain effect.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that a little bit?
That's right. Most of the time, maybe 99% of my pieces are mixed media. So combining different technique, different pigment. I have some of the found object, for example, the very first one here, you can see a piece of non-traditional element into that piece. It is good to mention, for example, back to the university, for me, it was a little bit hard to drop some final project to the end of the week. So I got a really good memory. One of the professor who for those who were having some problem to buy art supply because it's really expensive over there. So he showed us a way to go back to, for example, taking back to the indigenous process, using natural materials, whatever we found on the street also, putting all together in order for us to complete the project every single week. So we got the assignment and it was a time where we said, okay, I don't know how to deal with that. So a good way to start looking and, let the creativity process to find a way to come up with some possible product on the non-traditional way to create art. So yeah, that's exactly, it's been part of the experiment right after that learning process. One of the wonderful things that I really love and I truly believe it's part of my passion is working with kids. Here's a few images of working with public school and private sector also. Once again, we work, you name it, many different projects. We talk about indigenous, we talk about culture, we talk about some of the social issue, and once again, so art being used as a tool to create some beautiful piece of art. This is one of the Holland also Christian school, the biggest piece. One of them, it was 2 years ago, part of the Ottawa County, the first Latino festival, I believe. So we create a mural in a plow, snow plow. It's actually the one at the bottom here. It was another very interesting way to create a functional art. The art has been completed there. I believe they used it through last winter. To talk about, I just to show you some images to be familiar with Latin American art, which is actually influenced the Caribbean art movement over there. The colonial, the independence, the identity, and our reality being places in those pieces of art. Showing some images from one of the most few prominent artists in 19th century, the Mexican Vicardo. This is a wonderful piece of art showing the oppression from the European to the indigenous people there. Another well-known Mexican artist, Diego Rivera, who was a very prominent muralist. I think that one is part of the Detroit big piece of mural there. Frida Kahlo husband, that you may hear a lot of beautiful and interesting story about this relationship, and also a part of the art that they create. Jose Clemente Orozco is another very prominent Mexican artist, 19th century. Once again, it was very, very important for them to show all of the process from the European being all over Latin America. Talking about Frida Kahlo, this is part of the series of work that I've done. Frida Portrait, Dear Frida, I name it. Very, very popular, part of the collection of art from Vicardo colors, which is a lot of people like to acquire some of these images. Frida Kahlo has, yes? Yeah, those are part of my collection. All of them have been sold. I got a couple of more pieces of Frida Kahlo portrait coming. Yeah, it's been very, very popular part of my artwork. Another Brazilian artist from 19th century who was very popular around the world. He's showing the environment. He's showing the type of people. It's more surrealistic, in a surrealistic way. This is very interesting. Artist, also very, very international artist with Wilfredo Lamb. He's a mix of Asian and Cuba. So he developed a lot of his stuff on Europe. And one of his collection is being shown in New York from his art gallery over there. Roberto Mata from Chile, another surrealist artist, very important in this generation of artists from Latin America. Some of the information about if you like to connect with me through website or email. I gotta go back because I think it's important to start to end that off from that story. In I believe my father was more into accounting. He was an accounting person. He liked numbers and those type of things. I think that's the reason he was creating a little bit of pushing me to become an attorney or become a doctor, which I said, well, I don't feel to be that way. I remember having a lot of problems with mathematics in high school also. It was like, oh no. However, I believe that my artistic part came from my mother. When they divorced, I remember my mother being a crafter per se, creating a lot of items for sale. It was a way actually to provide for us, being a single mother of 4. So I think the vein of the artistic vein coming from her. Another important thing to share, you know, like all of us, grandmother and mother are the pillar when the father is not in the house. So, you know, they are providing, they are taking care of us. They are, you know, they take the torch. We don't have the men here. I'm the one who want to provide for my kids and, you know, guide them with very important values for us, you know, to keep that one, the pride. So I very, very, you know, I've been blessed to have a person like her still alive. She's turning 87 on April. So it was a very support for me through the whole challenging to become an artist, probably sometime with no money to, you know, create my project and stuff. So yeah, another important thing also was that I believe that it's not important for me to become a successful artist and having a big amount of money in the bank. I believe that one of my purposes is also to serve. I've been helping a lot of young artists, emerging artists all over the place, you know, guide them what to do, what to take, and also not just to become an artist, they can be anything as a professional, you know, but to be someone in the society to afford, to come up with something positive, to be better, especially for those who are in our community. We got to show the best of us. So once again, using art as a tool to guide them through. It doesn't matter what career they choose to be or who to become. So it's very important for me, those type of things. And I think God is returning, is rewarding what I'm doing in many different ways. The big opportunity in New York is coming in April. It's a huge event that I've been approved last October. Well, we got 2 different opportunities. One in Miami on December, Art Basel, which is one of the biggest art exhibition in around the world. And then New York one, they're expecting about 24,000 people this April. So I'm very happy to have this opportunity, and that's, I know for sure it's gonna help me out, you know, to get in another level and connect with a lot of biggest art gallery there and big art collectors and, you know, those type of things, because it's in here, it's very limited. So I feel that I'm living in a horizontal way, in line. So I don't see too much up and down like before, but once again, I'm very proud of what I've done during these over 20 years in West Michigan. It wasn't easy, but I stick with my, you know, with my idea, with my vision, with my desire. And I know for sure you will see some of my pieces around when you've been there. Once again, I mentioned the Hub College as one of my pieces, a part of the private collection. Mr. Jim Brooks, I don't know if I believe you know Mr. Jim Brooks here. He collects some of my work, and the process to keep connecting with every single person here, no matter what they are come from, what skin color. So this is part of the vision and part of the purpose to be a visual artist here in West Michigan. So if you got any particular question, I'm more than welcome to have that conversation with you.
Are you still doing your music?
Yes, yes.
Make sure that you have the mic when you're asking a question. Sorry.
Just ask that again, Al.
I was wondering if he was still doing his music, if you still have a group.
Yes, it's better than before. We are improving, and we are doing jazz now. We are doing the traditional African Caribbean rhythm. So yeah, for those who are interested to having us part of the particular event, yeah, feel free to reach out.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
wondering if there are many Caribbean emerging artists that come to West Michigan, or do they primarily go to the cities because there's larger markets or perhaps other things? And sort of related to that, what are the 2 or 3 biggest challenges when an emerging artist would come here?
Yeah, there is a few artists, especially for Jamaica. I met a few of them, and I noticed that a few of them already are living to bigger cities. There is a couple from Dominican Republic, and I promote back in 2009 2 sculptures from Cuba. They're still in Grand Rapids, but I believe the opportunity, or they haven't found out the opportunity to grow. But yeah, the opportunity exists here. That I believe the barrier, for example, the language or what to do, or who to talk with is one of the reasons that now. So they had to work, for example, in a factory like me when I came here. Part of the first 4 years I've been working in a factory, of course, in order for me to sustain, to pay bills and stuff. And also remember, I had to provide for the paperwork for the rest of the family who was in Dominican Republic. So, but at the same time, I've been knocking some doors despite the limitation of my language by that time. It's persistent is one of the things. Absolutely, it's not easy like any other business. In order for you to be on the top or try to get in the competition, you have to come up with be creative, come up with some new stuff, be working hard, maybe like before. So it's part of the everyday challenge in this particular area, because as you see, the school, we have a limitation of the budget also for art. That's the reason they had to go with our local artists for a small project or something. So yeah, it's one of the items that on the list, at the bottom of the list to support. But once again, we keep promoting, we keep trying to educate people. Hey, this is important. Art is important in all humanity in many different ways, as you see. Besides bringing people together, there are murals, for example, that make a sense of belonging in this particular community. It's a wonderful thing to see art while you're driving, while you're walking. So, and having that conversation with those images is also refreshing, Yes. You're very welcome.
I was just wondering if you could tell us what a typical day is for you as far as how you create. Do you have a routine, or is it just when you feel the creativity?
Yes, it's a good question. My schedule to work is always focusing on a new project, for example. I have a time when most of the time, nighttime is the one that I use for create a piece of art. morning, early afternoon, is putting together a new proposal for any particular project that I like to, because pieces of art doesn't sell every day. So I have to have at least 5 different sources of income within my art business. And of course, keep improving. Learning is another part that I have to stick into that, because the competition out there, they're probably doing the same thing. But I truly believe that I'm one of the most busy and competitive artists in Grand Rapids. This is the everyday challenge for me. Mhm.
Eric, could you maybe talk about one of these paintings and kind of walk through where your
Sure.
inspiration comes from and then how you develop that into the finished piece?
All right, absolutely. The very first one here on my left is La Morena, La Mulata is a term that we use for those people who've been, is a mixture between European and Afro people in the Caribbean, and actually in Latin America. So La Mulata is a female with the Afro and, very nice character in a way, in the Caribbean. So I tried to come up with that one.
I'm gonna see if I can move the camera.
Sure.
So that they can see it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not sure if it's gonna be possible.
Oh yeah, we can move that piece of art in. Okay. I don't want to disconnect everything here. Yes, yes. So once again, yeah, this is one of the people there, we name it Mulata. The second one here is one of the collection that are going to be showing in New York. I put in some 80 new pieces in total for the New York Art Expo, April the 5th to the 11th. So hopefully get a really, really good stuff over there. See, we can show that one. As you see, this is a very abstract artwork that kind of stuck here. Okay. Mhm. So that point into the environment. As you know, we are facing a lot of issue with the environment. The whole world is complaining to us. Trash in the sea, contamination. So this is kind of a reflection of what we experience here.
I'm just gonna make sure that's flashing.
Mhm. Very organic piece. It's an oil mix, but once again, a mixed media piece. And the last one is also very interesting new piece that is going to be part of the New York exhibition. Another symbolic and intrigue. And I would like to have the people, actually, that's the one that you have in your car right now. Take a chance to have a conversation with that piece. Most of the time, we have the very first question when we have some art show or bring in some pieces, what that means. Could you tell us what that means? And I try to encourage people, okay, have a little conversation with the piece, interaction, and then probably you will see something that I don't have any idea what it is. So that's the interesting part by, having that interaction, that experience with a piece of art, name it, canvas, mural, music, you name it.
I would just say that I see Picasso, and I think you've studied a lot of artists that you've combined their ideas.
Yes,
Picasso to Rivera to
absolutely.
Frida,
You got it right.
and I've loved all that art. So this is, I really appreciate this.
Thank you. Yeah, Picasso, of course, you can see there is a lot of influences in Picasso from Picasso art in my some of the pieces actually showing the screen has those type of distortion in the human bodies and a little bit of surrealism, a little bit of everything in a way. And I've been jumping in many different stages. So surrealism, figurative, abstractionism, figurativism here, for example, and of course the colors is something that it's hard for me to detach of. It's coming automatically out of the palette for some reason.
Does anyone at home have questions? If you do, you can certainly unmute yourself at this point and fire away. We'd be happy to have more questions. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, thank
This
you.
was really inspiring, and it's so wonderful to have all this right in our backyard here in Grand Rapids.
My
and be able
pleasure.
to enjoy your murals and other pieces. So thank you again.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely art.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone at home for your patience, and we'll see you later.